The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
A new anthem, California Love Part 2. To live and die in LA, West Side, West Side, West Side. To live and die in LA, where everybody try to fatten their pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody
We are not for
sale.
We not for sale.
for sale.
Thought I was by myself for a minute.
Nah,
man,
we
we ain't
in
selling
here.
out.
We in the start.
It's your boy MK in the house with the fellas, all the fellas, minus two. Shout out to the homies who are not here. Shout out to Jay West.
Yo,
who's
yo,
not
yo,
here.
West.
Shout out
Jai,
to the
what's
Lincoln
happening?
Lawyer who is
Lincoln
not
Lawyer.
here.
Lincoln
Where you
Lawyer,
at?
man.
But I'm going to go right across the table. I'm not even going to go to my right or across the table. My boy Hollywood is back in the house.
Hollywood
Say what's up to
Back
the people.
in the building. What's going on, y'all? I miss y'all. Been on the road a couple of months. Well, not a couple of months. Anyway, I'm back. It's good to be with my brothers. We're gonna have a good show tonight.
Absolutely.
But let me pass the mic to my man Too Sick, because the fit is so cold.
Absolutely.
My man is album cover ready tonight.
Yeah.
Let him know what you doing.
We're not for sale album cover.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
get the memo. I would have wore a chain or a sweater or something like that, but it's all good.
No, how do you pronounce that shit?
Which one?
The rugged wear you wearing. What is it? How do you
Carhartt?
Carhartt.
Carhartt? That's it? Okay. He got out the car. I thought he had the Timbos on. I
Yeah.
mean, it got a little chilly out
Yeah,
here,
he
but
got on the
shit.
butters.
Yeah,
Got on
you
the
know?
butters.
Looking good.
He look good, man. He's doing well for himself.
Too sick to great.
Too sick to great.
Still talk
Hey,
boots.
man, it's good to see you guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I got my brother with the 2 chains over there, man. My little homie, Jason Estrada.
Hey, Jay Estrada Fitness, peace, love, and health. And to my left, cooking it like a chef, so deaf.
Hey.
You know, babyface RJ Lewis.
Damn.
We got you the remix today.
Hey, the
Felt
remix.
that one, huh?
The remix, man. Feeling good. Feeling blessed. Glad to be here with you brothers, man. It's been a very interesting
Blessed
week.
and highly favored. Isn't that right?
That is right, man. Please don't misquote me. Please
I
don't
listened to
misquote
Kurt
me.
Franklin this week, man.
Yeah,
Shout out
I'm glad you
to
did.
Kurt Franklin and
I'm
the
glad
family.
you did, man. I'm glad you did. You need that spirit. You need it bad. But I'm happy to be here. It's been a crazy week, man. I couldn't wait to get with you brothers and discuss the things that's been going on in the streets and in entertainment and in life, man. We got a lot to talk about.
Estrada Fit, tell the people what we got coming up on the show today before we get into it.
Well, before we get into it, we gotta talk about, you know, what's going on with kids. Do you guys think that it's important for us to have a society where we're being almost feared out of having families? Are people afraid to have kids? Young professionals, are you afraid to have kids? Wait until the time is right. Does that even exist? Or is that just a figure of speech? We're going to dive all the way in. We're going to talk about the different types of methods that have been used against us as a people in terms of us not having big families. So stay tuned, you guys, and I'm going to hand it right back to you, MK.
So, talking about things that happen, let's talk about Big Snow. Because that's who I was
Big,
rooting
oh,
for.
come on, we got to talk. Okay,
You know
Big
that
Snow
Goo
and Goo Wop.
Big Snow.
Here's the thing.
Jeezy.
Just like everyone, I was extremely excited to see this versus. This is probably one of the
I
most,
think it's the best ever.
dynamic verses.
I think
Just
Wait,
because-
don't forget about
Wait.
like Snoop. Everybody was like, oh, Snoop's was the
Yeah.
best
No,
ever. Now
Snoop
I
not.
forgot
Just
about
Don't
that.
try to.
Nah.
It wasn't as dynamic as this one.
wasn't-
That was
yeah,
good.
this one was on
DMX
point.
and Snoop was good, but this, come on now.
There was
06
a lot of showmanship with that one, but I think this one was more important to the culture.
to the culture
Absolutely.
because we grew up knowing these cats was beefing hard. I mean, as you know, you know,
I mean,
a lot of cats that died over this beef.
A lot of people didn't know about the beef, like, because my son is 19. He didn't know anything about the beef because it's been going on for like 15, 20 years. But
Yeah.
just give us a Cliff Note version of the
Give
beef.
the Cliff Note version, okay?
And what are we talking about here?
We're talking about Gucci Mane, Jeezy versus that just went down. Huge for Atlanta, huge for the culture. You know, what is it, 05, 06? I feel like they did the record So Icy together.
Right.
You know, both trap star rappers. And I think it was a beef of whose album was going to go on. I think it ended up on...
It ended up on
Gucci's album, yeah. But I think, you know, Jeezy had some you know, something to say about that. And this is all, you know, what I heard through the streets, whatever. Basically, word on the street, Jeezy sent goons to Gucci's house, you know,
Allegedly.
to allegedly put a bounty on his head, sent goons to his house to, you know, either rough him up, take his chain, perhaps even, you know, murk him, whatever. Didn't work out that way. Gucci ended up flocking back, ended up killing one of the goons that went to go check him, and, you know, the beef has just been going on since then.
Turns out one of the guys who went to rob him or do whatever turned out to be an associate of Jeezy.
Yeah.
So it went on that Jeezy sent whatever. And I guess there was a whole big thing as far as like, you know, Jeezy wanted So Icy to be on his album, whatever.
Yeah.
All speculation. But at the end of the day, these two dudes, because there was the talk of Jeezy versus T.I., Jeezy versus this, but it finally came out, Jeezy versus Gucci, and everybody's like, oh, fuck.
Like, is that even safe?
Right.
Like, can that even happen in the
at
same
Magic
room?
City or wherever it was? Like,
yeah.
fuck.
And they had diss records against each other, you know, over the years and everything. So for them to be in the same room to kind of go, like, I was on the edge of my seat. Like, I don't know about y'all, but, like, I was on the edge. Like, it was almost like I was a little kid watching wrestling all over again.
Right.
Just like, you know what I'm saying?
So go to the moment where the rails look like they're falling off.
Woo! Okay, so check this out. Gucci came out hot, you know what I mean, with his diss song. Call, you know, saying bitch, pussy, call Jeezy all types of insult that you just shouldn't be saying another man in front of you. But I would say that when it came for me, when Gucci performed Truth, that song where he talks about, you know, killing, you know, Jeezy's associate.
Loke,
yeah. And then him saying, you know, Gucci, after that song, Gucci even antagonizing Jeezy, saying, put that nigga in the dirt. We smoking on Pookie Loke tonight, you know, like, I was just like, nah, these cats from the box. These facts, you know, like, it's
I think, to be honest with you, if you ask me, I think, even though I know Jeezy clearly won the battle, but I still think Gucci was the bigger man. You know, because there's no way you could have got me up there.
Yeah,
you know
having somebody, you know, that you know sent these goons for you to come and still do that. Yeah,
like,
you know?
I don't even want to hash out anything with somebody that want to kill me.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people are talking about that was like in bad taste of Gucci, but yeah, you have to understand this. He might not even be here, you know, if the cats were successful. Right. But I will say the way how Jeezy countered that and came back in that next moment with, you know, saying that
I'm
this
the
is
realest
culture.
nigga in it.
Yeah.
You already know.
Already know. But him just making it more about the culture, whether it was between him and Gucci, him, you know, paying respect to Nip, King Von, all the rest of the, you know, cats, fallen soldiers we had in hip hop. For him to make it about them in that moment and then come back with that song and that drop, like, was an electrifying
But
moment.
But let me ask you this, Too Sick, because you kind of hinted on it. A 15-year beef, like, at what point are you grown enough to say, I'm over it? Are you saying, like, if somebody allegedly sent someone to murk you, you would never be okay with 15 years later? You're not okay with the sit down and
No,
hash it out?
because it's not like a fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I got in a fight with a dude at a club, like, I couldn't beef for 15 years. That's something that... But when you talk about what can happen during the midst where there's guns and where there's guns involved, and you talking about, you know, ending someone's life, and it's a little bit, it's not the same. It's not the same squash. It's like I can never fully trust this person. I can never know when they're gonna get on that edge again. I think Gucci was the bigger man. And, you know what I'm saying? Just for coming out there and doing it, and it was bigger than a lot of people, you know, because it was about he may have saved a lot of these youngsters' lives that didn't know, like you said, your youngest son didn't know about this,
Right.
and you know a lot of kids, man, they can see that now that like this is the way that we can squash a beef. If you look at their situation, we don't have to go.
Because I don't think a lot of people looked at it that way. A lot of people was like, oh, Jeezy was the bigger man. You know, he invited this dude here. He got on stage and basically told him why you here. But I don't think a lot of people looked at it from the flip side of like, wait, Gucci actually showed up. He's the bigger man.
Right.
I just again, message to the kids: you can handle your differences differently than what we've seen in the past. You know, people getting shot and all of that. But I think message to the kids too is still entertainment. We got to also keep in mind both of these guys got paid significantly well to put this on, and for them to act like they didn't like each other was probably a thing to draw people in. I don't necessarily buy the fact that, you know, if they really hate each other that much, they wouldn't have been on the same stage.
conspiracy.
So that's just
Well,
that's
now, I
just
mean,
where
well,
I'm coming
I-
from with it, and I understand when he actually went into a spill, the DJ already had the music queued up.
Right.
That already lets me know right there. It's definitely some WWE stuff going on.
And then when you get to the end, I'm gonna get you. When you get to the end, which I was like, okay. When you get to the end, and they're like, "You ready to do this? Let's do this." And then they go right into
and I didn't even see it. I saw some of the highlights, but I just
Yeah,
just
I mean,
looking at it
here's
from that
the thing.
view.
Here's the thing.
I'm not
We're
that easily fooled.
We're not, but that's the thing, though. That's a beautiful thing about entertainment. We all know they probably had a sit down outside of that show to talk about like, yo, this is how we gonna do this or whatever. And I'm almost positive that they definitely played up, you know, throughout the show or whatever, you know, being angry at each other or whatever. So I get all that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Too sick looking at you like he don't buy that shit. He like these real street niggas. Ain't no Hollywood
Nah.
shit.
Well,
Nah.
I can tell you they've been around each other many of times. I
Yeah.
can tell you that firsthand.
yeah, that wasn't the first time.
You seen them?
I've seen them
You
together.
seen them?
I have. You know what I'm saying? You know, but it's interesting. It's interesting. At T.I.'s birthday party, brother.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you know, little fella. But at the end of the day, what I feel like is just because you
Which
know
birthday party, right?
just because you know somebody is going to play a song doesn't mean that somebody knows how you're going to respond. They made an agreement that he could play the song, but that response was genuine.
Right.
And that response was also scripted in terms of the music that he played afterwards, which was legendary.
Yeah.
We you know, being in college during that time was a phenomenal. I mean, it was crazy, man. That music just took me back to my band at Hampton University playing that music. You know, and it was big, but it was great to see two black men on stage having the impact that they have come to an agreement and finish off that way.
I mean, and like Jason said, message to the kids, man. These kids, man, and I mean for everybody. These beefs don't need to be hashed out with somebody getting shot. You know what I'm saying? Back in my day, you either had hands or you didn't. You either got out there, you got fucked up, and then you kept it moving, and you fought again, or whatever the case may be. These kids need to get the fuck back onto that type of shit. Stop respecting the shooter. The shooter is a bitch.
Hey, I got a question for you guys in terms of that. Since we last seen you listeners, viewers, King Von, rapper out of Chicago, was killed. You know, murder alleged. You know, it's being investigated in terms of the outcome of that, and then also Mo3, rapper from Dallas, was on the freeway, got out of his car and ran and was chased down on the freeway and murdered. You know, very interesting. Two different types of scenarios. Also, Boosie got shot. Benny the Butcher got shot. All in Texas.
No fades caught.
but
No fades
very-
caught.
very
Here's the
interesting.
ironic thing about it, though, because I did see the camera footage of before King,
Yeah, what do you? That's my question. My question is, if,
King Von came out and put tips on that. You know what I mean?
You see what I'm saying? And that was the right thing
Like-
to do. You know, that's the right thing to do.
so you have two entourages, and you have somebody that's with an entourage, and he gets out on his own. He happens to be the leader of his entourage, King Von, and he gets out and immediately starts
Tease off on Quando Rondo.
beating up this man, and then his crew responds with gunfire.
For what? For what? This man out there fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck you got a gun for?
Well, I think we all know why people in entourages carry guns. It's because you don't know what the next man has.
Yeah. I'll
You
pull
know,
out
but
first.
when I looked at the video footage, it changed my perspective a lot. You know, from hearing that a man got murdered to watching what happened and seeing a man jump without his crew, ill-advised on his own, to getting into it with another man without even surveying the situation. It's easy for me to see how somebody could see somebody say, hold on, this is my brother, this is my cousin, this is whoever getting jumped by this group of people. I don't know if he's getting stabbed. I don't know if somebody got a gun and immediately start shooting. Now, we all know, you know, as ignorant as it sounds to me, I expect that.
Yeah.
I expect that.
So check it out. I mean, I know the shooter's trying to get off on a self-defense.
Right.
Would you agree with that? It was self-defense in that scenario?
I would have to, you know, and this is, you know, coming from a from the, you know, police side in terms of the investigation. I don't know the feud beforehand. I don't know if it was premeditated. I don't know if they were expecting to see him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was expecting to see them. All I know is what I saw on that camera.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the beef that they had previously, I'm not aware of it. I know that they had some beef, but I just know that if I have beef with a person, I'm in entertainment, like Jason said, I can expect to see this person at some time. Them guys, King Von, to my knowledge, was 5'5", 5'6". Quando Rondo is 5'2" or 5'3". I would expect somebody like that to always be strapped at all times.
Nah.
I would. And I would say that if I had an issue with somebody and I knew I was going to bump into that person, I would expect for gunplay to happen. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't look at it like that.
I'm with. I won't put it past none of these youngsters.
So when you get to a point of that magnitude, should you have security? Like, let security handle that type of shit.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, and this is the funny thing about the entertainment industry, being around it, as you guys know. Most of the security are family and friends. And even the organized security doesn't necessarily want to get involved in gunplay. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily want to get involved in gunplay. And you, like I said, you guys could attest to this, especially Hollywood. You know, when an entertainment or a rapper or someone is beefing with someone else, it fucks up the camp's energy. Everybody is now a target. Everybody is now has an issue. You know, because if you're with them, you represent that issue from that side. No different than, I mean, we all have affiliations to certain people and certain individuals. You know, there's no question. You know, Dom is my man. If he had an issue with somebody, I'm always with him. I'm going to have an issue with somebody as well in terms of how people view me. They're going to say, hey, I got an issue with Dom. If I see RJ, I'm going to have an issue with him as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, that's a great discussion for us to have in the future. You know, do you take up the beef of your friend's beef just because? But, you know, this thing was great for the cause.
Yeah.
Jeezy won, right?
I think I'd say
won.
to say that.
But let's get into the topic
hip
for
hop
tonight.
won
Big
at the
Snow.
end of the day. Hip hop won at the end of the day.
Let's get into the
Culture
topic for tonight. We all have kids at this table, or a child at this table. Were you ready? You know what I mean? Was the support there for you? I had my first kid when I was 19. You think I was ready?
Absolutely.
As ready as I could be. You understand what I'm saying? But when you look at the black family, how many kids are planned? You know what I mean? How many people actually sit around and actually plan a kid? I have 3 now. I could say
Interesting.
I have 3 now. I could say one of them was planned, my middle son, and then my last son, he wasn't planned, but I mean, fuck, you're married, you got 2 kids already, you have one. Oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? But, you know, that structure just seems like it's not there when it comes to the black family.
Right.
And my question is, why? And how do we change that? What do we go about making sure? Like, is it okay? Were you pressured to not have a kid? I mean, when you look at the abortion rates for black versus white, the abortion rates for black women are much, much higher than they are for white women.
Right.
Is that because of poverty? I mean, all these things I want to ponder tonight. So I'm going to turn to my man, Jason, and let's fire it off, brother. Let's get it started.
Yeah, I mean, I just to piggyback off of what you just said, are you pressured? And one of the things is are we even educated on sex, period? I always ask my friends this question. If you knew that every person that you had sex with, it was guaranteed that you would have a child by them, would you still have sex?
Damn. Say it again.
Wait, say that again.
Say it again.
If it was a guarantee that you would have a child by every person that you've had sex with, would you still have sex?
Well, you know, some niggas want to purposely get a girl pregnant. So let's, you know what I'm saying, based off of how she looks. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like, based off of just locking her down. Like,
so if you look at the fact we have that logic. You know, we do have the ability to create contraception. You know, in terms of the human culture, but in the animal kingdom, ain't no pulling out. You know, you in that thing, you definitely gonna, you know, expect the child to be born out of
That's
that.
because it's done with intention. And you know, me and Jason, we've discussed this before, and it's very interesting that he brings that up, because the way that we analyze a woman, you know, we talked about it previously. If a woman is sexy or if she's beautiful, you know, now that I'm older, it's kind of one of the first things that I think about in terms of her credibility as a companion or as a mom or as a wife. It's something that I no longer have the ability to just allow a woman just to look the part.
Yeah, nah.
She
That's
now
just
has
out.
to have character to go with
oh
it.
yeah, hell yeah.
Nah, that's just out.
Don't nobody want no fine ass, stupid ass broad.
Yeah, on the real. That's just out.
For real, don't nobody want that.
But we didn't consider that when we were younger. you
Nah,
know?
absolutely not. And then, you know, pretty much, you know, I want to pose to everybody, in this room. Like, I think we should go around.
Yeah.
Were your seeds playing? Like, you know, MK, you said, 2 out of 3 were playing.
1 of 3.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, the first one, yeah, definitely. One out of 3. What about you?
My son was 1,000% not planned. And when I say not planned, I mean, you know, from the time that my son's mother was pregnant to just the simple idea of identifying, you know, if I even supported the pregnancy, number one. And then after, you know, pressing my issue in terms of my belief, you know, which was kind of interesting because, you know, the conversation I had was, hey, you know, if you don't want to have this child, it's not something I can go along with. However, if you do want to have this child, I'm still going to, need a DNA test, and I'm still going to need verification type situation, you know. But I wasn't fully invested in terms of in a relationship with my son's mother, and I definitely wasn't expecting it. So it was a shock, you know, 23 years old, and even at that age, being older than MK, I still didn't have my wits together, and I still didn't have the structure that I needed. I felt I needed to be a great father.
Let me set the scene real quick. So I have 3 children,
Right.
1 woman. How many children?
Just one.
Obviously one
With
woman.
one woman.
How many children, Estrada?
I have 2 and 1 on the way.
Congratulations. Same
One
woman.
woman.
One woman.
See, no.
1 kid with 1 woman.
2 with 1.
All right. So we're not up here talking about a couple of dudes that got kids everywhere.
Right.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of.
But I could have.
I
have.
just wanted to, I guess, help Ray out. And the beauty of it all, this is the poetic justice, is even though you weren't 100% prepared, it may not have been planned.
Yeah.
Your son is the best thing that's happened to
Amen.
you. And just watching
Amen.
you as a friend, knowing, you know, coming to my house, you know,
Yeah.
and talking to me and my brother,
Yeah.
you know, having that conversation while your son was still in the womb.
Yeah.
You know, really, that was probably a very difficult time for you.
Yeah.
And seeing how that all played out, and we both gave you very sound advice.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful that you were able to step up to the plate, but also encourage the pregnancy.
I appreciate it, man.
Very thankful for that.
It was a challenge. I mean, I went to my brothers and I didn't tell anybody. I wanted to go to my brothers and really get some sound advice, consultation in terms of their ability to see me as a father at that time. You know, I just finished a planned career that wasn't a career. It was kind of a disappointment, and I was kind of in a point of depression, you know, and I was going out a lot. You know, Hollywood was single at the time. It was me and him every night. Wes would kind of sprinkle in with us, you know, and Jamers would sprinkle in with us, and we was going out with no intention at all. So to find out that a young lady was pregnant was not just challenging for me, it was also a disappointment.
But back to that word intention.
Yeah.
I think I want to stay there for a second because, again, do you guys feel like we've been miseducated on the act of sex? Do you guys agree with the fact that we've created contraception as a way for us to actually maybe scoot out of the way of having kids? Or do you think it's programming? Do you guys think it's culture? What are your thoughts on that? MK, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. But I think it's okay. Because when you talk about having children, there's a certain financial aspect that everybody just can't have.
Yeah.
Right.
And, I mean, everybody on this panel probably like to have sex, but you don't want what comes with it, i.e. the children responsibility, the financial burden that it takes. So, yeah, contraception is important. And I think a lot of people started talking that contraception stuff. I think when I was coming up in high school was probably the first time people started giving out condoms at the schoolhouse.
Right.
And God, people went crazy.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? You know what I mean? I don't have any daughters. And I always ask myself, if I had a daughter, would I put her on birth control? Is that the right response?
Hell yeah.
But am I
Fuck
giving
yeah.
her the license to say, go do this?
Go
No,
have sex.
what you're doing is you're protecting yourself from becoming an early grandfather.
But you may be hurting your daughter because you may ruin her chances of actually being able to get pregnant. True. And now she's suffering from, lack of fertility or not being fertile at all. And a lot of women have been told by their doctors because they've been on birth control since they were a teenager that these are one of the side effects of being 33 years old, 34, 35, and not being able to have
And a
kids.
lot of women are also on birth control early to regulate their period as well.
Right.
In terms of the pain and process that comes with that. Young ladies who are listening to this, we love to get your feedback on that. But ultimately, to me, it's very interesting to even think about your kids growing up and having those types of choices without you being involved.
I think it would have to be a decision. You know what? I take that back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have to be a joint decision on that because I think women they know when their daughter is getting there. They know.
Yeah.
They have it's like a sixth sense. Every woman that I've spoken to that told me that their daughter has gotten to that point to where they realize that she was,
She
having
fucking?
sex. Yeah,
You scared to say it?
Yeah,
Flip the page. Let's actually get let's just get a little bit more. We can draw this out into an actual scenario, and I think these are the questions that parents ask themselves. Okay, if my child is raped, should I encourage them to have an abortion, or should I be more so encouraging them to have a child that could change the world?
That's
a
huge.
tough one, man.
Yeah, that's a
Because I was thinking about that from that episode. Off
But
of
I'm
Shy.
gonna go straight to you though, Too Sick.
Yeah,
While you got the mic, answer that question. What do you think?
I think that's a tough one, man. Because it's like, they had an episode on the Shy on that, and it plays on both sides because then you bring a child in this world, and then you basically bringing in a bastard child, and then like, how do you explain any good about how he got here, about how they got here? How do you explain about their father, about anything positive about how this kid got here? So I think that's a rough one, man. It's a tough one.
I think that's largely on the woman.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
a
That's
tough one.
largely on the woman,
yeah.
and if she's able to push
How
through.
can you put all of that
if this
on
is
her?
if this is your child.
Yeah.
Wait, we're talking about somebody got raped, right?
Your
I'm
daughter,
talking about your child.
Daughter. Let's say your
right?
daughter got
your
raped.
daughter.
How do you encourage your daughter?
We won't even be having this motherfucking conversation. I thought we were gonna talk about financial and it, like, yeah, like, this is, yeah. Anyway, what, like,
Hollywood Police the fifth on that. I think
I can answer that question. I have a daughter. Now, in the event that this were to take place, and no, I'm not speaking it into existence. I know that there's just a scenario that comes across my mind when I think of childbirth, and these are one of the scenarios. So I'm answering the question from that point of view. I'm more so thinking about everything. I'm thinking about Ray over here, who, you know, may have been not planning a child, but now, man, his son is, I mean, he's an amazing kid, you know, and that child chose to come here as well. I think that the fact is that we also have to respect the natural aspect of how we get here. And I'm not necessarily deciding for anyone else. I'm just looking at it just from my point of
But
view.
but when somebody getting raped, it's not a natural way of somebody getting here. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
it's still natural. The aspect of, you know, pregnancy and childbirth, that's all natural. But then what you have to deal with is the consequences and how to explain that and make this child feel the worth and the beauty. And this is why I chose for you to come into this
what
world.
happens is
And that's
this.
tough, though.
In my mind, I
is.
believe that.
And I was so general when I said rape, because rape can also mean statutory rape. It can be if the child was 15, but her boyfriend was 21. You know what I'm saying? It could be that scenario too.
so since you were on the road of answering that question, you know what I'm saying, like, and you used your own daughter as an example.
Mm-hmm.
That scenario plays out.
Mm-hmm.
You're okay with her. You know, she's like, Dad, I want to have the baby. You're okay.
I'm definitely okay with that.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is, you know, depending on what the situation is, it's largely on my daughter's decision. It's largely on my daughter's decision to do that. I can't. As much as I want to control shit, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? My daughter is gonna be her own person, her own woman. So ultimately, she's gonna do what's best for her.
You can't force. I mean, it's.
But she's a child and she's underage.
But see, that's just one of those tough things about.
By law, you're technically
in control over her. That's one of those tough things about being a parent. Is like, you know, making those type of decisions that will kind of put you in a position with your family and your daughter of your daughter not upset with you for not respecting her decision to keep that, and that could go on for the rest of your life.
Well, here's the perspective that I would present. Having a child, and it's something I thought about a lot. Having a child is a miraculous thing. You know, with all the science in the world, nobody can truly say how a child really is conceived and comes into this world. It's truly a miraculous thing. And I believe that as a father, I would like to say that I would support my daughter in wanting her to have that child as a blessing. But as a man and as a regular human being, it's not something I would want from my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Because of the hardships. But one thing that I would stress to every father and mother listening to this show is that you can overcome mistakes. And you can overcome the trials and tribulations of making terrible mistakes, you know, that cause you to repent for something that you did. And that's another perspective that I thought about when you brought up, you know, this scenario, Jay, is that even if you desired to push your daughter away from the hardship of having that child, that doesn't mean that her life is going to be any better or enriched. And it does not mean that the next child she has will be more blessed or family structure will be better equipped just because she's in a relationship. All right? We don't control the future. You know, what we control is the decisions that we make now. And hopefully we're preparing to make great decisions, but we have to understand that, when it comes down to that, yay or nay, it's going to be trials and tribulations both ways.
What do you feel like would be the you said I'm gonna go back a little bit. You said I'm also a human.
Right.
But you've already categorized yourself as a child of God.
Correct.
So you're not just a human in terms of how you see life and your paradigm. I do want to ask, though, what does the word of God lean you towards in terms of that scenario?
The word of God leads me towards free will. And it's something I brought up when it comes to voting. Mm-hmm. The word of God, always leans towards a person making a choice. And it's very important because you have the whole idea of murder.
MK,
right?
You over there moving a little bit. What's going on? Talk to me.
What's up, MK?
I listen. I mean, we're gonna break down free will. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
do we really have free will? Because I thought we were preordained and predestined. So, do we really have free will?
I mean, from your perspective, you may think that we're puppets on a string, but I don't.
I wasn't saying
So
puppets on
are
a
you
string.
asking me a question? Yes, we have free will. Yes, we do have the right to choose.
See, this goes off into a whole nother topic, which I don't want to go into, but we'll get into it later. But
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
you did that on purpose.
I saw you moving
yeah, I
in
mean,
that
it's
chair.
cool. It's cool. I mean, to me, there is a simple idea that thou shalt not kill, which is actually thou shalt not murder.
Don't say it's a simple idea, Ray. That is a real thing.
What's not so simple about that?
It's not just a simple idea that you can sweep under the rug and then go to your free will argument. I think you have to stand on that.
Well,
if that's
I think,
a commandment,
I think
you got to stand on that, right?
I think for the brother that killed King Von, he believed that wasn't murder. I believe he believes that was protecting his cousin. So we may have different variants of opinion of what murder and killing is.
But we're just talking about abortion.
What I just said is someone may think differently from me. All right, in terms of someone may think if a woman gets pregnant via rape, this is not murder. Someone may think that.
But what do you think?
I think that's a tough one, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think
This
that, like I
is a
said,
tough
I would like to believe that I would be of the opinion to keep the child. Okay. But I don't know. The hypothetical.
I'm just saying that because at that time I was a Christian. I'm no longer a Christian, but at that time,
yeah, you're a fucking hypocrite. We all know that.
But I'm just letting you know. My understanding has gotten to me to a point to where I can actually go back into that time and say, Ray, I actually gave you advice based on my belief in Christianity.
Yeah.
You accepted my advice based on your belief in Christianity. And what ended up happening was your child is here and it's a beautiful soul.
You know what's so funny about
Why
that?
would you go back and double back to free will?
Well, what I'm, it's very interesting you say that, Jay, because out of all the great advice you gave me, it was still up to my son's mother. You understand that? Maybe that flew over your head.
Right.
But out of all the great advice you gave me, it was still up to my son's mother. And my son's mother made a wise decision and it turned out to be the best decision of our life. However, it was her decision. Do I think I impacted her and influenced her? Yes. I didn't do it all in the right conscience. I wanted to say the right things to persuade her. But then when things wasn't looking good, shit, I was also excited. Like, shit, I get my life back. Everything is smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Look, brother, I'm going to let you off the trial. I'm glad you're keeping it real because this is a hard conversation to have.
It's a very hard conversation. It's a conversation that women are interested in when it comes to the mind of men.
Yeah.
But I want to, you can take it where you want to, but I want to switch it up for a minute. Because I watched that Kevin Hart thing last night, so I'm just going to preface this by saying what I'm about to say might be slightly racist. Mm-hmm. But when I look at, like Latino families, they have like big families. They welcome kids. They love it. Yeah. But when I look at our culture, it's like, oh, shit.
Oh, he had a kid? Damn.
Oh, shit.
Did you hear he had
my daughter pregnant?
What?
Hey,
like,
you know what? Hey, we ought to shoot it to Jammers in Hollywood to go back to what they talk about, the villainization of the black woman. To me, that's where it starts.
Okay, let's
That's
talk
where
about it.
that's where it
But
starts.
I also
Like
think,
men,
but I think now hold on that statement could be a little bit, narrow, because if you think about it, and that just depends on the mindset of people living in California and New York. Now, I know people in the South and in the Midwest with 17 kids. There's 16 kids. I got cousins that got about 10. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think it just depends on where you're at. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're here, we rarely, outside of, I may know like one person here with a large family, but here I think it's just too expensive. But if you're like in Georgia or somewhere, like, having 5 kids ain't shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's women, like, I'm serious. Like, it's women, they be like, she got 5 kids, she just had a little baby. She look good, though. You know what I'm saying? You be like, damn, she do look good for 5 kids. But, like, somewhere here, like, I don't know anybody that got fucking 5 kids.
Yeah.
You know?
I think financial plays a huge part.
Yeah.
In the size of the family. Just going to my own situation, what we kind of were talking about earlier. Were you ready? I had married my wife. We were 2 years in, and she decided to get out birth control. We actually planned our daughter. You know what I'm saying? Just put it out in the air to see what happens. Was I ready? Not necessarily. I wanted to be, making more money, having a house and everything like that, but I wasn't there. And
But I think there's a difference between financially ready, but like spiritually, mentally ready.
But,
Where
yeah.
you guys obviously had to be mentally ready.
And I'm going to tell you what mentally had me ready.
Tell me.
My time is not on my side. My parents are getting older. So I wanted to give them a grandchild and to get to know their grandchild before they left this earth.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? So I knew it was...
That's
it
very
wasn't-
unselfish.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't about me anymore.
Right.
As selfish as I wanted to be and the more trips that we wanted to take and everything, I was just like, you know what? Because at the time my pops was, getting over cancer or whatever. I was just like, yo, his time is limited. This is bigger than me.
Right.
Let me do this for us, but for them as well.
That's what you said, huh, Hollywood?
Yeah. Nah.
Oh, shit.
Give me the legs. We have to do it for my parents.
Nah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to knock you off.
Also, I want to tell you, my wife also kind of duped me into having because she was just like,
Careful now.
this is
Careful.
some game.
Uh-oh.
Don't fall for the game. She's just like, how do you know if your sperm even works? How you know you ain't shooting? Oh yeah. I'm gonna show you. And look at my dumb ass right now. I got a kid and everything. So yeah.
Hollywood said, "You're gonna feel this tonight. You're gonna feel this tonight.
It's the
I'm
eight.
gonna make sure
It's
you
the eight
get pregnant tonight."
I got that super sperm.
Jason, give me the CMOS.
May have twins tonight in this motherfucker.
But what I'm gonna turn to you, Too Sick, because I think out of all of us, you're probably the last one. Like, you waited for a minute to get into this game.
Yeah.
Was it you were just living the life, or was it like
That nigga
you hadn't
definitely
found,
living the life.
You hadn't found that trophy yet? I mean, well,
I mean, he's a fucking scumbag. He need a little more time.
no, I mean, we talk about being ready. I mean, what
Ladies
when you
and
said,
gentlemen, you just got the scumbag quote from R.J. Lewis.
you talk about being ready, like, I mean, shit, you're well into your 30s,
Yeah.
and you did it like people are supposed to.
I mean, I think that for the most part, man, it was a very scary experience, but I think the universe had it set out for me at this particular time, and it's
That's God, according to Ray, not the universe.
Nothing I can pretty much do. No, seriously, because like as much as you say you can plan it, at the end of the day, you don't really have any control. And Ray didn't have no control either. And at the end of the day, if you're having sex and you're having unprotected sex, you planned it, nigga. Regardless if you slipped up or this person happened, it's no.
You gave it a good shot.
Yeah, you planned it. You planned it, nigga. If you went in there raw, you planned it.
You shoot your shot. You shooting up the house.
No matter if you say, "Oh, it was an accident." It was no such thing as an accident.
Right.
You went in there raw, butt naked. You know what I'm saying? You planned it.
My pull-out game is terrible. What about you?
I'm gonna tell you guys like this.
Go ahead and be a hypocrite and tell us.
I went ahead and decided. Me and my wife both decided. She'll say I decided. I mean, pulling out just causes too much anxiety. I really don't think you're supposed to feel like that every time you have sex. I mean, it's great, and then you pull out, and it's just like you're either gonna pray and pull out and pray, or you're just gonna like hope that it didn't get in there, and like it's just too much anxiety. So why not just leave it in, guys?
And that's what you're thinking about the last 30 seconds. You're like, I want to pull it out. I want to leave it in. I want to pull it. You're not even enjoying it.
And that's why this nigga has 3 kids.
And see, that's what I want to ask you. I want to ask you this.
And more on the way. Stay
Strata
tuned.
Fit, because when you look at this world as it is, and people are always talking about the world is fucked up. The world is fucked up. I would never bring a kid into this world. You got one on the way.
Yeah.
Was there any thought?
I got a partner of mine. His name is Jason as well. And my boy Jay got 6 kids. And he goes, one day I'm talking to him. He's
Where's
like,
he live here?
yeah, he lives here.
Yeah.
He's a homeowner, young black professional, and he has 6 kids, beautiful family, beautiful kids. And Jay goes, man, Jason, they always talking about how the world is all messed up. He said, man, why don't we just have more good kids? You came from a good family. I came from a good family. We both from Compton. Let's just have more good kids, man, and we can change it. And yeah, I agree with him 100% because
Yeah, but you don't know if the motherfuckers are gonna always be good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't predict because you're a good nigga that you may have one fucked up in the bunch. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You can't go by the way they look and all that other
But
shit.
you play the odds. You play the odds.
It's
Yeah,
50-50,
definitely play the
nigga.
odds.
It's 50-50.
I think at the end of the day, our biggest fear is having a child and not being ready. My question is that programming or is that something that we strongly believe?
It's
Right.
programming, man. Because
There you go.
the biggest
Yeah.
thing I found out about being a father is just the greatest fathers are present. It's not about the financial investment. Yes, kids need things, and child support takes care of those things. But I think it's about
Shout
being
out
there.
to EDD.
Shout out to everybody stealing on the EDD for their child support. But at the end of the day, it's about being there. It's about physically being there, and it's about putting your hands and your imprint in their growth and development. I can quote scriptures in terms of raising a child.
Of course you can.
However, one thing that I know
course
for
you can.
sure,
Go ahead,
man,
give us one.
is you have to put yourself in position to stop worrying so much about the outcome and just do what you're supposed to do.
Let me ask y'all this, because I know it's some people listening right now, and this question is a tough one. But who bears the responsibility when it comes to like these one night stands or these brand new relationships?
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
should the woman bear that responsibility of having or not having this child? Because niggas always sitting around talking about like, she trapped me, she this, she that. Not talking about you. I'm just saying like, I'm just saying like, you know a nigga for a week and next thing you're pregnant and nigga's gone,
Mikey?
and she mad because the nigga gone.
No such
I
thing.
can answer that question for you.
I'm here
If
for
you
it.
went in there raw, nigga, you planned on having a kid. Nobody trapped you. You trapped yourself. You had an option. You could have
Okay.
not did it.
Okay.
Okay.
What are the condom breaks?
You still had.
what-
Hold on.
What if she said
But
she's
like,
on
I'm
birth
sorry.
control and then
No,
she's not?
nigga. If you're having sex, period. Okay, it's the same shit. Whether you use a condom or don't use a condom, nigga, there's always a risk.
There's that possibility.
Condom breaking, this, all that. It's always a risk, and you going into it and you knowing it. So, okay,
Well, it goes back to what Jason said is programming because you're using a condom to avoid it.
to avoid it, yeah. But you can't stop what the universe has planned for you. So if that
Well, I don't know
condom
who the
break,
fuck the
that
universe
young
is.
lady gets-
I don't know who the universe
Oh,
is.
you know who the
Shout-
universe is?
Shout out to Too Sick, man. He
You know
sounded
the
real
universe
namaste today, man. He needs the ponytail.
Hey. Oh yeah, in a yoga mat, nigga. Like what? So basically,
Get on his ass, Hollywood.
don't have sex with a woman unless you prepare to
I'm
have a baby
telling
by
you.
her. Period.
Listen, okay, put it like
That's
this.
what we're saying right now.
Listen. I'm
Go ahead
telling
and say it,
you-
Jeremy.
No. I'm telling you this.
Abstinence?
No, I'm telling you this. You got options. Nigga, you can drink and get in your car and drive and then go kill somebody and then you made that choice, right? Or you could drink, sat at home and not went nowhere, right? And you would have been cool. We all got choices in life, nigga. I'm not telling you not to have sex and do this. I'm telling you that, nigga, no, it's a 50-50 chance. Just like when we go outside, right? Just like when we go outside, we just talked about this earlier today. we all go outside knowing that it's a 50-50 chance that we might not make it home.
Let me put the spotlight on you for a minute because this is fun. You've got a son who is reaching that age.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to have that conversation with him because what is he, 12, 13,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah.
Are you gonna
I
preach?
ain't gotta have no conversation. Nigga done already seen. He know the YouTube, the computer, the kid. They fucking these kids up, man. They already watching sex and shit like that. There's no conversation to be had.
So
It is a conversation.
But when
to be
we
had.
was younger, you seen of your fucking dirty uncle.
Nigga, we was watching
No, wait.
HBO
No,
Cinemax.
that's not the
No.
conversation. The conversation, what I'm looking for is, are you preaching to him abstinence, or are you saying to him, here's the condom, or are you saying, what are you saying? Or are you saying, nigga, it don't matter whether I give you a condom or not, be prepared to have a kid? What are you saying?
Don't bring no motherfucking baby in my motherfucking house. That's what I say.
So-
You know what I'm saying? However you take that, it's meaning if you get pregnant, nigga, you better go figure it out.
ignorant parent in the
16,
world.
17.
Yeah, nah.
Why?
Now you need to have
Why?
that conversation
That's,
with him.
hey, that's
No. I'm not foreign to that.
universe
I'm not
told
foreign to that language because my parents they
told
kind
you
of
the
had
same
that
shit.
same
Yeah.
thing. But
and look what you did.
But my
you ain't
question,
got married, and you got to set a
but
foundation.
my question is this: do we redefine that statement so that these kids understand it, or do we just tell them the
Yes,
same thing our
I
parents
want
told
that
us?
nigga so scared when he fucked the first bitch that he fucked to be up in there like, oh no, it's over for me. I can't do it. Yes,
Yeah.
You got to put that fear in their heart
Man.
to realize that nigga, this is a chance that you gonna have to go somewhere and you gonna have to become a man right now.
That's some strong father shit right there.
Yeah. I mean, if
I don't even know if I can't even be mad at it because
Yeah.
that's reality
Nah,
in
nah,
a lot
that-
of households.
That is a reality. I mean, me personally, I think when I have a son, if I have a son, when I have a son, I'm definitely gonna send him and talk to him about sex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, listen. You gotta listen.
Well, I look like 60 years old, 50 years old. These niggas bringing babies in here crying and shit.
Nah,
I ain't got no more babies. You know what I'm
gotta
saying?
you gotta have a real conversation with them, and
Yeah.
you have to have a conversation with them at different points.
Yeah.
It's not just hey, my son is 11 years old and I'm gonna talk to him. No. You're talking to him along the way, but you're also showing him.
Yeah,
along the
because
way.
his body is gonna change.
You're also
cool.
showing him along
But
the way.
like any other man, you know when the nigga, when the kids start fucking, he ain't fucking yet.
But
You know
not,
what
but,
I'm
he,
saying?
but,
You
his-
know
but
when
his
I
body
wanna
is
get
probably
there.
changing though. Like wet dreams, for example.
Yeah,
I didn't know what a wet dream was. I just woke up one day and my dick was glued to my damn drawers.
Okay.
I wish somebody would have gave me the heads up, but I was just
Viewers
like, damn,
discretion.
like what?
Hollywood.
I mean,
Viewers' discretion.
that's
Hey,
a-
but what if? Thank you for getting that out. I feel like that needed to come out.
Nah, I was just saying,
Yeah.
but
What
as
was
a
the dream
youth,
about?
as a youth though, I wish like my dad would have talked to me
What
like,
was the dream
yo,
about?
like I was hitting something. What you mean?
Well, who were you hitting in the dream?
Hey man, come on,
I
man.
gotta know, huh? Who are you hitting in the
Hey,
dream?
man, long time ago, man.
What was it?
Long time ago.
Did you have the dreads or not?
How long ago?
This was pre-dreads, this was everything, pre-sex, everything.
how soon
but
ago
my
was it?
point, and excuse me if I'm graphic, but my
Was
point,
it Tyra Banks?
my point is, I wish like I just would have had a conversation, just because my body was changing and everything like that.
Several
and I was
conversations
and I was dealing with these
along the way.
hormones.
So
You know,
but then again, MK, it goes back to what we said. You have to be present for your son to even want to have that conversation with you,
Right.
and not be taught by the internet.
But stop,
Exactly.
stop, you guys! You guys act like there's not a parent out there who did all those things, and they kid still went out and had a baby.
I speak openly in my house. I talk about
But
sex
you know,
all the
there's
time.
a
I
parent
think
who
it's
did all
nothing,
of those
you know.
things, and just to be fair, we grew up around some people, and I have some friends that their parents were in their house their whole life. They told them, you know, okay, don't come back with a baby. And I have a friend, the first time he had sex, he got a girl pregnant.
That was that 50-50 chance.
So is it? And I want to go back to you, Hollywood. And I'm sorry if I put you on the spot for this, but both of your parents were in the home,
in home, yeah.
and you said something like, you wish someone would have had that conversation. So did,
Yeah.
did your dad never have that conversation? When you woke
Never
up,
really
you was
had
like,
that.
"Holy
You know,
shit."
my dad, if I came to my dad, he would give me a blood honest answer. The thing
Right.
is, the age gap between me and my dad's a lot longer. So by the time I came, like he had 2 other boys, and by the time I felt like I came, he was just kind of tired and kind of like,
Right.
He wanted your brothers to raise you.
yeah, he was just more
Right.
so just he was older black man, kind of just wanted to chill at that
it's
point.
probably a difficult conversation. Like Jason, you're saying, or Ray, you were saying that the man has to be present, and we're looking at this situation where very educated parents,
Yeah.
present in the home, but still didn't have that conversation.
Well, let me explain my understand or my value of present. My value of present is being a person in my son's life that he wants to converse with, and also being a person that wants to converse with my son about these things.
Okay.
So in Hollywood's household, like he said, the age gap was there. Plus, he had his older brother, so there was some expectations.
Right.
My son is us. We have, to Jammer's point, I'm very honest and open with him. I'm very honest and open with him, and I want him to understand, look, I'm not only here for you, but I've been through some things. And these things I can explain to you, and I can explain them to you in a raw way, but I also want to give you understanding. And I want to give them to you. I want to give it to you from that perspective.
And I
but
think
did you have those conversations with your son?
So here's the thing with my oldest son, who had children, once he was grown and graduated. So my thing is, he graduated college, got into his career, had a girlfriend, they got married, they have kids. No need to talk about any of that. But we had the conversation ahead of time because
That nigga didn't bring no baby in your house.
well, he was gone at 17, but he was in college, focused, and being an athlete. And to your point, yeah, I'm not about to raise your kids.
Right.
Yeah.
If you don't have a kid, you're gonna be on your own.
And just
Right.
to
But
be
like,
clear, right quick,
what-
just to be clear, like my parents enforced the same thing, like don't bring no babies
Don't
home
bring
too.
no
Yeah,
babies
it was like it was probably said once or whatever, but it was an understood rule.
Yeah.
Just don't be bringing no.
But still, when he came to me and was like, "You're gonna be a grandfather," for real, I was like, "Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you ready? Do you understand what this means?" Because they saw me as a young father.
Yeah.
But I think, I think my kids may have appreciated the fact that I was a young father because I was out there coaching.
And
doing
as
all
a-
that
as a
shit
young-
with
as
them.
a young-
so
and that-
I
yeah.
wouldn't. I love the way it happened.
Now, as a young father, did you bring a child home into your parents' home, or was that?
nah,
no.
bro, I was on my
That's
own.
what,
on
yeah,
your
he was
own.
on his
Okay.
own.
I was on
and
my
that's
own.
and I think
And that's the difference.
That's
Okay.
why. That's one thing I like about like with when my dad enslaved that in me, because it was like at the time, shit, I was in.
You can say enslaved.
I don't know what the fuck.
Well,
this
instilled
nigga
in me.
just-
I
Oh,
probably
I was
did.
like,
I'm sorry.
I
instilled-
know him, like, damn.
no. That's one thing I like that he instilled in me is he said like, hey, don't bring no baby in my house. So it was like, nigga, from 13, I was working, hustling, doing whatever I can to make sure
Right.
that whatever I got to do, I'm gonna be good, because I know that it's gonna be a 50-50 chance, and that I may knock somebody out.
The way I grew up, my mom was the most lenient person I ever met as a parent. Me and my sister could do anything.
Yeah, see, I didn't have those type of parents where niggas had parents
was-
that you could bring girls over.
You know,
I did.
close the
did.
door
Nah,
and shit
I
like
did.
that.
I could do
Nah,
it,
I did.
but it was reverse. It was reverse psychology because, I can't say
the Bible by the door.
nah. We already had the Holy Spirit in us.
Oh.
We had that.
While you
We
was
had
having
that
sex,
in us.
the Holy
Nah, I
Spirit
wasn't
was in.
having sex at all. I didn't
door was
start.
closed.
No, I didn't start having sex until
Fornicating.
I didn't start fornicating.
You just said it.
Nah, listen.
Come
I
on,
didn't start-
Jerry
I didn't
Falwell.
start- I didn't- That boy is crazy.
Preach. Wow.
Hey,
know
so
what?
what does anything mean? What did your mom
So
let you do?
what happened? What happened was this. She allowed us. She allowed us to make our own decisions, and she made
Did
sure
you
that
have sex with your mom in the house?
Nah, I didn't.
You did it at least once.
No, I didn't.
Let me tell you something. I did.
Nah.
Here's the
Nah,
thing.
I
Here's the
didn't,
thing.
man.
Here's the thing.
Hey, remember-
My mom moved to Arizona. I lived by myself my senior year of high school.
Same.
And I didn't start having sex until my senior year of high school.
You lived by yourself?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I had
By
I had a
myself.
similar situation.
Yeah.
Like my parents,
Me,
like
what?
they,
Me and my
See,
cousin Fred.
black parents didn't
yeah,
do that shit.
yeah, nah. My parents were
Really?
lenient like that too.
Yeah.
They would leave
My
on the
mom-
weekends, and I would usually have
my
the weekends.
mom,
like,
my
to
mom,
my,
my
to
mom would
myself.
come back on Friday night to catch my games and cook me meals for the week. Shout out to my boy Big Rob, who his mom allowed me to come over there, you know, all the time and eat as well. But I lived by myself, and I never had one young lady over to my home. You know why? Because it wasn't.
over Big Rob's house?
No, I didn't. Because it wasn't my home. I didn't grow up with a home. It was my aunt's home. And I never felt comfortable enough to have anybody over to even feel like that. But the truth is, I was supremely focused on sports. And I was supremely focused on getting a scholarship so that my mom wouldn't have to pay for college, which is what I promised her. So these young ladies, I could have had them all. But I chose to focus on sports. And if you ask anybody from that time, it was very clear that, yeah, Ray, he's on something else. I had all the things. I went to all the dance. I talked to all the young ladies, but I just wasn't sleeping with them.
And you had a crib that you
Yeah.
could go back.
Yeah.
Listen,
shit.
my dad, he was lenient in a way, but his reasoning was like, I'd rather you be up here with a young lady than in the street with the hard legs.
Yeah.
So,
With the what?
In the street, he called them hard legs. With,
Oh,
with
hard-
Nick, you know,
hard
yeah,
leg,
just
okay.
like, you know, with
Hard ankles.
Yeah.
Hard
Yeah.
legs.
Hard legs.
Yeah.
Hard ankles.
So he's like, I'd rather you be up here. I'll hook it up. You could be in the living room, kick it, whatever. You know, yeah.
For real.
Rather than running around the street, because he knew I was fascinated with that too, and that was his way of keeping me inside the house and keeping the eye
it
on
was
me.
girls' house that I had been over, who parents just like let them close the door and all kind of shit.
I only would talk to the girls whose parents were lenient. And be honest with you, I mean, when I was in high school, even in junior high school, I was just, I knew that it had to be at someone else's
Well,
house.
I mean, they thought you were homosexual, so they weren't concerned with the outcome.
until I gave them that Nia Long.
Hey, I was a latchkey kid, so wasn't nobody at my house. I could do whatever
Shout
the
out
fuck I
to Nia
wanted.
Long.
Shit.
Wow,
Oh my god, man!
Hey,
crazy
you a fucking
world.
creep, man.
Unbelievable.
Look, man, this is a really good conversation. Hopefully we touch somebody. Hopefully people out there understand that having a kid is a big thing, but it's also a beautiful thing.
Amen.
Beautiful thing.
Amen.
Beautiful
Praise
thing.
God.
Have kids, guys.
You can get through
We
the
need more good
financial
people.
burden. It's
Just
on
be present.
you to make it happen. And from a variety of different stories up here, everybody's happy with their choices that they made. You know,
Amen.
that's from what I can
For
determine.
right now.
And I truly think that we're only here to plant our seeds and watch them grow. You know, so you guys be mindful. You know, if you plant that seed, nurture that seed, and raise that child. Be there for your child, regardless of the circumstance, because that's what is actually going to be a echo on how you are as a parent. Is the way your child grows up and then becomes a person to plant their own seed.
I wish I could remember, and it's the last thing I'll say, there was a quote, damn, I can't remember who said this quote, but I just read it yesterday, that said it's easier to raise a child than to fix a broken man.
Yeah.
And with that,
Wow.
I will say, validation is for parking.
Yeah.
And
we
we
are
not
not
for
for
sale.
Holla.
Holla, let's get it. Jeezy, Snow, Gucci, 1017, Burt.
LA, straight up. Let's go out to LA. The new anthem, California Love Part 2.